Pregame, yeah, yeah. Pull up to the pregame. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Hey, hey. Pull up to the pregame, yeah, yeah. Pull up to the pregame. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Hey, hey. Catch a vibe.
Yo, welcome back to another pregame podcast. We lit, we live, and while y'all edit, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Shot, where in the world is Shad today?
Hey man, so it's not where I am; it's where my wife is. My wife and my oldest daughter went to the Glorilla concert, so I am on dance duty
Yeah,
right
Glow.
now with my youngest. Yeah. Shout out to Glow, man. I wish I could go actually because I rock with Glow heavy. But my youngest daughter still has dance practice, so that's where I am at dance practice.
Dance that.
Just waiting in the
Hashtag
car.
dance that. Sitting in the car.
Yep.
Shout out
Yep.
to, I didn't know Glorilla was in Charlotte today.
Yeah, Glorilla tonight. Yep.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So look, thank y'all. First off, before we get started, I want to send a huge thank to everyone who has subscribed to the pregame podcast. We have officially hit 300 subscribers. I'll take it. I have like certain goals for us, right? So the first one was like, yeah, 100, then it was 300, and now I want to get to 500. I want to get to 500 fast. So continue to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to pull up to the pregame podcast. We're trying to get there, man. So while you're here, if you're new here, you know how it goes down. I'm gonna ask y'all what y'all pulling up with this week. If you're new here, don't worry. But basically, what we mean is whenever you go into a pregame, you always come up or show up with something, right? It doesn't necessarily mean for us, the podcast doesn't necessarily mean that you have to come with something tangible. We just want to see how your week was. So, Shot, I know you've been everywhere, man. What you pulling up with?
Man, that's a tough question, man. I don't know, man. I'm tired. But we here. You know me. Every week I feel like I say gratitude, but I'm always thankful, man.
Ain't nothing
I'm
wrong with
always
that,
thankful for what I got, man. So I'm always pulling up with gratitude just to be here, just to be able to do what I can do and pod and have my kids and my wife. I like that, and I kind of look at life from a high level. So I'm always grateful and just happy to be here, man. Happy to
bro.
be here.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And I think it's dope that you, especially how busy you are, that you can take a moment and just reflect and just embrace that feeling of like, you know what? I'm grateful, I'm happy, grateful and thankful for where I'm at. So shout out to you, dog.
All the time, man.
What am I pulling up with? I'm pulling up with thankfulness. I kind of mentioned it already about getting to 300 subscribers. I'm pulling up with thankfulness, man. I appreciate everybody who continues to show up, who shares content, who comments on every video. I read all of it, and I appreciate all of the comments. All the people who say like, "Hey, I watch from afar. Keep doing your thing. Y'all are killing it." All those different things. I reached out to Nashad, the agent that we interviewed a few days ago, and he said, "Man, like I watched that interview we did like 4 or 5 times, man. Like I gotta come back. I gotta come back."
Yeah.
So the man, he's super excited, and based on how things have been this free agency, which we're about to get into, I understand why he was super excited. He's got a lot to tell us when he gets back. He told us to buckle
He
up.
did.
He told us
He
to buckle
did.
up. So it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit. All right, so we got a lot to go over today. Of course, we're gonna start off with the pregame react. The pregame reacts are things that I did not tell Shot. First off, before we continue, I gotta backtrack. Vashti is at the ACC tournament. That's why she's not here. She's grinding during the ACC tournament, killing it. We miss you, Vashti. We'll see you next week. But I just want to let everybody know that's where Vashti is. But pregame reacts is always something that I don't tell Shad or Vashti what I want them to react to or what I'm going to react to. So we're going to get into that real quick. Context. The first one is around combine. This is from Cam Newton. One thing we do here is we do not do Cam Newton slander unless he absolutely deserves it, because that's how we get down over here. We're Panthers fans. But he was talking about the combine and around, well, I'm not going to get into too much of that because I want to see the video. But let's show the video real quick.
I guarantee you, if you ask any NFL scout, could they do the draft today? And I guarantee you they already know who they want. The Tennessee Titans know already who they want. And if you think I'm lying, ask a Tennessee Titans scout or an executive.
Do you think they'll end up doing away with the combine?
No.
Okay.
The combine is needed. The performance part, it's nothing else is going on in sports. The most important part about the combine is not even televised. So you still need the combine to be able to ask the Shedeur Sanders, the Cam Wards, to go into these meetings, to talk to your GM, to talk to your president, to talk to the owner in some cases, to talk to scouts. Hey, answer this question. Hey, we heard this about your mom. Hey, we heard this about your girlfriend. Hey, we heard this about your living situation. Is this true? They already got you picked, bro. Mm-hmm. They just want to see how you answer certain questions. This is their first time being around you. And they want every reason to choose you unless you give them a reason not to.
All right. You heard it from Cam. Shot, do you agree or disagree with this take?
No, I agree with everything Cam said. The combine is a necessary thing, and the most important things that take place at the combine we don't see, the interviews and all that stuff that happens behind the scenes. So, yeah, I agree with everything that he's. I did happen to see this clip maybe an hour or two ago, so I did just see this. So, and I think he's right. I agree with everything Cam is saying. He's 100% right. The combine isn't going nowhere. I'm sure the ratings will dictate that, and there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes regarding that. But yeah, I like it. I think he's absolutely right.
I agree. I completely agree. I think that he's absolutely right. And one thing that I always try to tell people is, it's going to be a lot of different things that are going to be coming out about certain players or what teams are interested throughout this draft process. Westcall said this, I think it was Dan Morgan. He said this during the combine, is like, hey, we've already worked weeks ago on our board. So we already have in mind of who we want. The only way that's going to change is if somebody goes into that particular interview and gives you every reason not to draft them. They do something or they say something where it's like, we cannot do this. This person does not fit our character. We have true character concerns, or everybody knows what Dan Morgan likes is somebody who loves football. So if you go in there and you don't love football, then of course he's not going to draft you.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say real quick. It's almost like if you ever gone through the clearance process to get like a secret clearance for the government. It's very similar to that, man. They know everything about you, bro. They already know. All they're trying to do is validate and whether you're gonna tell the truth or not, or you're gonna lie about it. They already know. I mean, so everything you need, just go in there and handle your business from from an athletic standpoint. 9 times out of 10, obviously some things. If you run fast, that's gonna help. It's going to help you fly up the board a little bit. But yeah, and I do think the first part of what he said is, Tennessee, they know who they want already. Everybody knows who they want. I would say like the top 15, top 10 for sure, probably have a solid idea. And things obviously do and can and will change draft night. So you got to be able to, trust your board. But yeah, Cam is right.
Yeah, I think he's completely right. And I think so I say all that to say, like, Panther fans or just football fans in general, as we're going through this combine, as we're going through this NFL draft experience, media it's going to go back and forth with the media in terms of what people are saying, hey, we're going to pick this person. Hey, we're going to pick this person. The Panthers know who they want to pick already. Let's just let it happen. But yeah, shout out to Cam on that piece. All right, so let's get into something else now. The next piece I want to react to is everybody knows this move from Allen Iverson when he was a rookie and he crossed up Jordan, and everyone talked about that. It's a dope play. But one thing I love about certain podcasts is when the players actually get to explain their moments behind what they were thinking when this happened. And before Allen Iverson actually came out and said, like, hey, this is what I was thinking, or this is what was going through my mind, everybody thought that, oh, he was definitely trying to cook him, and he was trying to show this, that, and the third. But let's listen to what was going through AI's mind.
Telling my homeboys like, yo, if I get the opportunity, I'm gonna try my move on the best that ever did it. If you look at this, if I would've, I made the shot, but if I would've if I'd have hit him with the hands up too, and then brought it back, you know what I mean? It would have really been crazy. But the dopest part about that is, if you think about it and you watch the play, he still almost blocked it.
He almost recovered.
When I hit him with the first joint, if you know the move, or if you know anything about hoop, I'm like, oh yeah, I got him. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
That's all I wanted.
and then I'm like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like, now I'm gonna hit him with the real deal. You know what I mean? And I hit him with the shit. Like, if you think about all of the hundreds of dudes that I did it to, they out the picture.
Yeah, they gone.
Yeah.
He was
right there and still almost blocked it.
Yo. So this is probably one of my favorite moves from AI. AI has plenty of highlights, but Jordan, who was Defensive Player of the Year before, for him to make that move on Jordan in his rookie season was fire. But it's dope to hear like his mindset of like, you make that move and you like, I got you. You know what I'm saying? If you're a ball player, everybody knows you make that one move, whether it's step back or whatnot, and you know you got that person, I'm either driving to the lane or I'm pulling up for the jumper, and he's like, I got you. But I think the reason that I like this talk is the fact that he gave Mike his props of like, anybody else would have been out the frame. Like, I would have crossed him up, they would have went left, I went right, and that's what it is. But the fact that Mike was able to recover during this play and still make and almost block the shot, I thought was pretty dope, man. What do you think about hearing his process of that move from a legend to a legend?
Yeah, I think it's dope, and I don't think AI gets enough credit for what he's done in the league, man. Or did in the league. Dude was great, and that's dope. It's dope to see him process it and talk about. I mean, people forget that MJ was a very good defender. Like,
Thank
people
you.
forget about that
Yeah.
aspect of his game. Like, he was a very good defender. So to hear him say he was surprised by the recovery, I've never heard him say that before.
Me
So
either.
this is completely new to me. So I think that's dope. I think that's dope, and I think, yeah, I mean, that's fire. That's fire. Shout out to AI, man. I ain't seen him in a little bit too, so shout out to AI.
I know, man. I used to see AI all the time at North Lake Mall when I used to go up there, man. He used to walk by. He used to be in the mall all the time, but I haven't seen him in a good minute, man. But looks like he's healthy, man, doing well. So I thought it was dope. And you were absolutely right, Shad. Like, he does not get the credit he deserves, not only for being the ball player that he was, but how he shifted the culture in terms of wearing the braids, wearing the baggy shorts, and like he would just
The
everybody
commercials, bro. The
yes.
commercials, bro. I never forget, bro. I promise. I'm all about moments, man.
Yeah.
I talk about this all the time, bro. I never forget. And I'm about to show my age now, bro. I never forget. I was in middle school, and we used to have this thing called Channel One. I don't know if you know what Channel One is, but they had it was like a little quick news thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it used to have commercials. And that's the first time I saw the commercial, and he did the spin. I was like, "Yo, this is crazy!" I had to have the shoes.
Oh
I
man.
had the gold and black Jones from Reap. Yo, just fire, man.
Yeah.
AI is a legend,
The
bro.
question.
He's a legend, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
used, man, the i3s, I had them all, bro. Yes,
facts,
absolutely. I had the blue and white
legend.
ones. Absolutely, bro. Like,
Shout out to Channel One though, bro.
Channel
If you know, you
1,
know.
bro.
If you know, you
I
know.
don't know, bro. Usually I don't know if I remember that one, dog.
Yo, if you know, you know, man. Y'all, so somebody in the
It's
chat know
somebody in
what
the
Channel
chat.
One
Somebody
is,
in the
bro.
chat. I'm waiting for somebody to chat say, I remember Channel 1. Nobody said nothing yet, Shot, but I know somebody out there. Somebody out there know what Channel 1. What you talking about with Channel 1? Yo, shout out to Everyday Game. What's good, pre-gamers? What's good, gang?
Hey, say gang.
Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. All right. So where you want to go? You want to go football? Or you want to go basketball? What you feeling?
Let's go football, bro.
You want to start with
Let's get
football?
to
Let's
it.
start with football. Let's get into it, man. Let's do it. All right. So a lot has happened recently with free agency. And I want to kind of talk through it real quick. I know we talked about it on P&P on Monday, but I want to break it down in a different way. So the title of this particular episode is Everybody Has a Price. And the reason I wanted to call it Everybody Has a Price, because I really want to break down some of the deals that have going on, some of the moves, some of the quote unquote change of hearts with certain players, and just break down of like everybody it's all strategic. It's chess, not checkers, and it's some things that we don't necessarily see as fans and we can get emotional about. But I want to break it down in terms of those particular prices. So the first three I want to break down is Myles Garrett, Milton Williams, and DK Metcalf. All right. So the first one, let's get into some content real quick. So let me go to the next slide here and bring myself in. Sorry, y'all. I'm having technical difficulties tonight because my camera's not working. So everything is shifted over to my camera, but I got to fix it around. But thank y'all for bearing with me. All right. So the first one I want to talk through is let's go Myles Garrett first. So first off, a reason I put his agent on here is Nicole Lynn does not get the credit she deserves, bro. She is actually a very, very shockingly underrated agent. And if I was a player, low key, bro, I ain't gonna hold you. If I was a player, Nicole Lynn, between her and David Melgetta are the ones that I'm going with, or Drew Rosenhaus. Those are the three that I would say. But Nicole Lynn is up there. She knows how to get her players paid. So Myles Garrett now, everybody knows the context. If you don't know, this is the TLDR version. He requested a trade. He said he wants out of Cleveland earlier a couple months ago. He was basically like, I want out. I want to go to a contender. I want to win. I'm done with Cleveland. Cleveland said, no. He said, well, I will hold out. I'm done. And out of nowhere, we get a breaking news from Shefty saying that you got a $40 million a year contract, $123 million guaranteed. And everybody was like, oh, well, money changes everything. Do you believe that this was the plan all along? Or do you agree with the title of this particular episode of Everybody Has a Price?
I think it's interesting. I think hindsight, it's easy to say, hey man, this is a part of the game. This is the playbook. Going out there on social media saying I want to I want a change, but typically people do that, but they don't do the whole graphic, right? He had a whole graphic to thank you, Cleveland. I think he truly did want out. And I just think that hey, everybody's got a price. $1 million man,
Come on
everybody's
now.
got a price, bro. And so I think that hell, I mean, I would have stayed too. He became the highest paid non-quarterback there is in the league. You know what I mean? So like everybody does in fact have a price. And the thing is this, man. I say this on my channel all the time. Not everybody has the motivation for the money, right? Some people maybe want to play close to home. Maybe some people want to do X, Y, Z. But this man is still in his prime. It's probably going to be the last big contract that you get, right? So you got to take advantage of it. And when everybody knows the NFL, the lifespan of an NFL player is very short, right?
Yeah.
In regards to a career, so you got to make the best of it. And if somebody's going to throw you the bag, you got to take it because
Yeah.
either that or you just going to throw money away at the end of the day. So I think he had his price. They met it, and money solves everything, according to Miles.
Hmm. Hey, that's what people say, right? That's the word around the street. Here's my thing, bro. I feel like one thing that we always say, this is a saying that me and a homeboy say is like when you know somebody, you can get something out of somebody. Like, all right, for instance, let me use this example: fantasy football, right? You got that one homeboy that don't know what he's doing, and you can give him some crappy player or two crappy players, and you be like, "Oh, you the fish?" Yeah, Cleveland Browns are the fish, and Nicole Lynn, the agent, knew that the Cleveland Browns were a fish. If you sat there and gave Deshaun Watson that type of deal with that amount of money guaranteed, she knew she could get something out of that for them, for
Yeah.
Myles Garrett. And so I personally feel like he wanted to stay. However, like he knew that it was going to be very difficult for Cleveland to actually trade him. You are arguably the best pass rusher in the NFL, generational player, like literally a generational player. If you'd have left Cleveland, it would have been horrible for them, and they know it. So Nicole knew that I can get you paid. So let's go ahead and just say we won out, and let's see what happens. And boom, now you are the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. And I mean, he said it before already that he wanted to stay. He's like, I want to stay in Cleveland. He's one of those type of players that wants to be a one teamer for the duration of his career. So my boy got paid. Let's get into someone else about talking about agents. Milton Williams. I know we talked about this already before on the Panther Nation podcast, but I know a lot of people were really upset with Milton, and personally, I don't think this has anything to do with Milton. I don't think that Milton had nothing to do with this. I think this was all his agent, and his agent killed it. Agent knew exactly what he was doing, and everybody has a price. And now things are coming out now, Shad, that, Adam Schefter was saying that New England was ready to go up to 26, 27, 28, 29. They were not going to be outbidded for Milton. Do you believe that? And also, what do you think? If you were Dan Morgan, would you have done anything differently?
Yeah, I believe that the New England Patriots, who have the highest amount of available salary cap, were going to do whatever they needed to do to get him. I think they would have gone up to the 30 million, and it's nothing the Panthers nor anybody else could have done about it. And I listen. I do commend Dan Morgan for sticking with his guns,
Yes.
right? Because it could have been easy to get in a bidding war with somebody that's not going to be denied, and then you end up getting left held with the bag, right? And that's not what you want. And so I commend Dan Morgan. I know I was upset about it initially, but again, the way we recovered, I'm not mad at it. I'm cool.
You feel better
So
now?
I felt better after the day was over with.
Okay.
When we
All
got
right.
Bobby Brown and the rest of those guys, I was cool. I was okay with it. But again, I just wanted the best talent that was available, and obviously we there's nothing we could have done about it. Like you said, the Patriots were going to go, or like Shefty said, the Patriots were going to go wherever they needed to go to get him, and there's nothing we could have done about it. But kudos to Dan for sticking with his plan. I'm not going to spend over X amount. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't do that. He pivoted really quick. Obviously, we were able to get Bobby Brown and the rest of those guys, and it all worked out. So salute to Dan Morgan.
No, for sure. You're absolutely right. I think the biggest thing, like some people, this is my assumption, y'all, because I do not know anything of, like, we know a little bit because of the interview we had with the NFL agent about the inner workings of what goes on during free agency. This is what I'm about to say right now is just my opinion, my perception, my assumption, right? I think some players go into free agency looking for one particular thing. It could be either scheme fit, it could be going back to play with the coach, it could be going to play with a certain amount of players because there's chemistry there, right? But there's other players who, this is my first contract. After my rookie contract, I'm going wherever the money goes. Wherever the money is where I am going. And I think that's where Milton was. I don't think Milton had the idea, especially, I just won a Super Bowl. I got my ring.
Right.
Super Bowls are very few for a lot of players, right? So I got my ring. Now it's time for me to go get paid, right? Yes, Drake May had a solid rookie year, but they are nowhere near a contending team. Let's just keep it a buck. He was going where the money is taking him, and the highest bidder was going to get Milton Williams. So I say all that to say, like, everybody has a price, and what I mean by price doesn't necessarily always mean money, because everybody does different things. Let's use Frankie Louvu for an example. The rumor is the Panthers started late, but gave him a good amount of money. His price was, I want to play with a coach that's going to use me the way that I want to be used in a scheme. That was his price. And so that's what I want to break down to everybody as we're going through all these different players is you got to keep in mind or try to find a way to analyze or to solve what you think that player's particular price is, right? Because everybody's going to have different reasons why to go. We're not going to talk about him tonight, but Devontae Adams talked about that today. He talked about he wasn't looking for a particular amount of money, but he was looking for who was going to use me. And he said Sean McVay was so aggressive in the best way possible of trying to get him to come to LA and showing him the reasons why he should come to LA. That was his price. He wanted to feel wanted, and Sean McVay was the one to do that. Speaking of wide receivers, this was not planned transition. Did I put a picture in here? I don't think I put a picture in here. Speaking of that, I want to talk a little bit real quick about DK Metcalf.
Mm.
DK Metcalf, this was an interesting one because this man literally, well, we don't know. Allegedly, this was what the agent was saying. Agent said that it wasn't this way, but it's been rumors came out say he wanted to play somewhere warm. He wanted to play
Yeah.
with a contender. And all signs were pointing to either the LA Chargers or the Carolina Panthers. And out of nowhere, Pittsburgh Steelers came and swooped him up, gave him a third round pick, or a second round pick for them, excuse me. And he signed a 5-year, $150 million deal today. Were you shocked by this shot? And then also, are you calling cap on all the different criteria of where he wanted to go?
I don't know. Maybe that's kind of truly what he did want, but maybe his price was the actual money, right? Like things change when you get that extension and the numbers start coming out. And maybe Carolina wasn't providing that amount that he was looking for, and so he decided to pivot and go to the complete opposite of what was rumored that he wanted.
Yeah.
He went to the coldest city you could ever went to, and I don't know that the Steelers are always contenders. I don't want to say they're not a contender, but that's a
Mm,
tough that's a tough division. You know what I
it
mean? You
is.
know that's brutal. You don't have a quarterback, right? We don't know who's throwing to you yet. I mean, rumors are it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. So I think he bag chased, and I don't blame anybody. Let me be clear.
Yes.
I'm never going to shame anyone for chasing that bag. Like I said earlier when I was talking about Garrett, is that the NFL career span is short. You got to get that money where you can. So hey, do what you got to do. And I think all three of these guys did what they needed to do to get to the bag, and I'm never going to hate on that.
Bro, you took the words right out of my mouth, bro. Pause. Like that's exactly what the plan was. Like they wanted, some people go in for the money, some people go in for the scheme, some people go in for the coach, for the players, whatever. These people were down, they wanted to make money, right? They were down to figure out the money. And how can I figure that out? He was hoping that because the Chargers did have some cap space, and this is not, I want y'all to keep this in mind. A lot of this information that comes out is not necessarily the players, but more so the agents, right? The players are talking through the agents, so he might have gone to the agent and said, "Hey, look, I wouldn't mind this," or they may say, "Hey, DK, what are your non-negotiables? What are your non-negotiables? What are the things that you are okay with, right? What's your goal? Where do you want to get paid? Okay, cool. Let me go put in the work." So they want to say, like, of course, they were trying to nudge exactly the same way that Milton's agent did with Carolina. Oh, I'm going to text Shefty and say, hey, we're finalizing a deal. Yeah, the deal might have been in play, but it wasn't any finalizing. They were really trying to call New England's bluff. And New England said, bet, we'll go higher. Same thing with DK. Hey, we want to go somewhere warm. They're trying to entice, hey, LA, we wouldn't mind going here. LA, this is a preferred destination. Go ahead and jump. Give the pick, make the deal. Pittsburgh came out higher. Sometimes you can't say no to the money. Now the difference is, Shot, Chris Godwin. His price is
Right.
totally different from everyone else's, right?
It's yeah.
Allegedly, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say his situation is a little different too because he's coming off injuries, right? So like he doesn't have the leverage that a DK has. But again, I always like to see the guys, stay where they are and finish their career. So
Yeah.
salute to him. I didn't mean to cut you off. I don't know where you were
Oh
going
no,
with
you
that,
good.
but
No, you good. You good. No, what I was gonna say was his is different, right? Because his price was, I want to stay with the team. I want to stay with who I know. I'm comfortable here. He's 29. My family's here, my wife and kids. But allegedly, and I got to put allegedly because all the stuff that comes out, we can't believe everything, right? But allegedly, the Patriots had about 20 to 30 M's a year for him,
Right.
and he took a lesser deal to stay at Tampa.
Well, the question is, does his agent have the calculator, right? Because Florida doesn't have any state taxes,
For
right? So
sure.
maybe there was a difference in that. And again, I'm sure Nashad would have been able to say, "Hey, look, bro, they got to throw this amount in order for it to equate what you're getting in Florida." That's what a good agent would do, and I'm sure Nashad would have did that. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And maybe that's what happened, and it just didn't make sense for him to go to New England. So there's so many different things and so many different factors. I mean, I would love to finish my career in Tampa, Florida. I mean, that's not a bad place to be. So
For sure.
I can't say I blame him. You know what I mean? No state taxes, and I think it worked out. And I think that's ultimately all players. I think eventually want to stay where they are and be those guys that stay with their one team their entire career. I think that's
Hmm.
dope. So kudos to him.
Kudos to him, man. I think it was interesting. I was shocked. I was shocked. I thought he was going to try to go for the money, but at the end of the day, everybody, like I said earlier, everybody is not financially motivated, right? And also, like if you look at the team, like he may be competitive and wants to win, and who's closer to winning, Patriots or the Bucks, right? So that's
Yeah.
just something to think through. Last thing in terms of football stuff right now is I want to talk through these guys right here. A lot.
Mm.
It was a lot of conversation in the beginning when we lost Milton Williams shot of like, Dan ain't it. I'm coming for Dan.
Hmm.
Dan ain't cooking. Dan is who we thought he was. All these different things. And then out of nowhere, Dan showed that he was the man with the plan. Bars. He showed that he was the man with the plan. And he was able to pivot so eloquently to grab a Bobby Brown, a a Wharton. He got the Trayvon Moore. He made all these moves after the Milton Williams thing, and then out of nowhere, dog, he drops the Rico Dowdle move. And honestly, man, we talked about this on Monday, and I was like, Trayvon was probably my favorite, but I ain't gonna hold you.
Mm-hmm.
This Rico Dowdle one this one might be my favorite because I was not expecting this one, and I was talking to my brother about it a couple of days ago before it dropped, and I was like, yo, Rico Dowdle out there, that'd be dope to have Rico on the team because, in my opinion, I feel like Rico and Chuba's game is similar. So there will be really no like let off. You let Chuba take a rest, Rico coming in and doing the same thing, right? So I thought it was dope. And it actually happened, bro. So like from this offseason, and granted it's not over, right? There could be some potential more signings. The draft is coming up, but talk to me about what you see from Dan this offseason.
Yeah, I think it was solid, man. I think it good, and it's so early to tell, man, because I could also play devil's advocate with regards to Dan's performance, right? Because we've seen
Mm.
some. Case in point, right? Shot Tuttle was brought in, right? It didn't work out. It hasn't worked out, right? He got a nice little contract. We had to renegotiate, whatever, right? Dane Jackson, another guy that we thought was going to be better. Jordan Fuller, we thought was going to be better. Like we've tried to improve this defense, so only time is going to be able to tell us if it was good or not. And
So,
again, yep, go ahead.
question. I'm sorry to cut you off, bro.
You good?
Question for you. When do we draw the line between a signing or acquisition and a player just not playing well and it being the player's fault versus the GM's
That's a
fault?
That's a great question because the element that you didn't throw in there was scheme, right?
Come on
So
now. Let's go. Let's hear him.
all of that matters too, right? So scheme, the coaching, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that go into it. And I think, man, I think Eva Rose is under so much pressure this year to at least have a decent product that I think he's going to get it right.
Mhm.
And I think the guys that we got are going to make it better. And again, the addition of Jared Brown, just getting Jared Brown back is going to improve that defense alone. So, I mean, again, you can't control injuries, you can't predict injuries. So, I do think we will be better. And I do think the players that we got will make the defense better. I'm just hesitant to go out there on a limb right now and say, hey, all our problems are solved
Yeah.
because we don't know. We gotta let them play. But on paper, I thought we did a decent job. But I would say on paper, I thought last year we did a decent job. You know what I mean? So I just got to be patient. I think everybody needs to be patient. Again, I like the Mulrick pick. I like Dowdle. I like the Dowdle pick. I like that we weren't resting on our laurels,
Yes.
and just trying to pick up anybody to fill the role of a Jonathan Brooks. They
Hmm.
went out there and got a 1,000 yard back. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
got a lot of tread on the tire. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that aggressiveness. You know what I mean? But we only time will tell. And again, I said this on Twitter, on X. You know, the common theme with all these guys is that, quote, their best football is ahead of them, right?
Hmm.
And I think now it's up to us to make sure that we develop that talent, right? Even though they got contracts, some of these guys still need to be developed and put in a position to win. And so Dan has done his job. It's now up to the coaches to do their jobs to make sure this thing works out. Okay.
Bro, I completely agree with you. They majority of them, not all of them, majority of them come from winning teams, and they're all young. Like you said, the best years are ahead of them. So I completely appreciate it. And then also, like as we're getting into the contract details and things are coming out, shout out to Brant and the way that he is structuring these deals to make sure that we have enough money to do certain things. I think it's dope, bro. Um, so what are your expectations for this guy going into the season? Israel Ebro, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wanted him gone. I thought I'm not gonna say I was the only one, but it's gonna sound crazy, and I'm gonna be real. I was hoping that he would stay one more year to give him a chance for two reasons. One, I from what Dan was saying of hey, we're gonna get him the help that he needs. But then two, I want the comp pick, bro.
Talk about it. If
Do,
you
do,
wasn't,
do,
I
do,
was
do.
gonna talk. If you if you didn't say it, I was gonna say it.
I want
We
the comp
need
pick, bro.
Evero to coach well, so that we can get this comp pick right. He has been linked to head coaching jobs, in the past, and I think he was getting interviews. I don't think he got any interviews this cycle, but in the past cycles he was getting interviews.
Yeah.
I think he can coach. I think this guy can coach. Just a matter he didn't have the talent, and so that cannot be the excuse this year. And I do think he's going to be better. I think, and again, for me, my expectations aren't crazy. Some Panthers fans might have some high expectations, but for me, I'm gonna say, give me top 15. I've been consistent about that. If you can give me a top 15, a middle, literally mid. If you can give me mid, I'm okay with that, bro. I'm okay with that. That's all. That's all Bryce and them need
Yeah.
is a couple of stops every now and then. And Bryce and Canales have proven that they can cook. You know what I mean? We just need you to meet them halfway every now and then. So
Mm-hmm.
my expectations aren't crazy. Just go out there and put the guys in the best position to succeed and adjust when you need to. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. Preach. Like I completely agree with you. I think this year is the year of no excuses for Evero. I feel like with the defense that we are creating, um, it's the pieces that we need, right? That nose tackle position. I talked about this on Monday, but the interview that I did with Ted Washington, the Super Bowl champion, nose tackle, one of to me the best nose tackle to ever play the game. He talked about the importance of the nose tackle position. He said that the nose tackle is the most important position in a 3-4 defense. You only go as far as you can with a 3-4 defense with a nose tackle position because you have to stop the run. And if you can't stop the run, they're going to continue to run. And if you don't have a nose tackle that can fill that gap, you're done. And so hopefully with Bobby Brown and then whoever we are going to draft, we can stop that run. And then the secondary does its thing when it's time for passing plays. So we'll see, man. My expectations are honestly, bro, it's going to sound crazy, but my expectations are high. And
Yeah.
I feel as though
Yeah.
Evero, this is put up or shut up, bro, because all eyes are on him. If he wants to be a head coach, if he wants to be a head coach in the NFL, he has to cook this year. He has to, because
I
now
agree.
everybody's looking and say, okay, you had the worst rushing defense in the history of the NFL last year, and now Dan Morgan has literally exhausted a vast amount of resources towards the defense and free agency, and based on the top 30 visits right now, he is exhausting a lot of resources there too. So now we're getting you all the pieces that you need in order for you to be successful. Now, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah. I just think that again, we're not done with the defense. You know what I mean? I think it's still some personnel things we need to shore up. I like that we got Mike Jack back. I do think that if you know, even Rose, if you know his scheme, you know he needs a solid secondary play. So, and that includes safety. So we know we got Morig. I don't think we're done from the safety standpoint either. So I think us either whether it's going to be a free agent, another free agent, or somewhere in the draft. There's some really good safeties in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
I expect us to go out there and get another one to ensure that Evero has everything he needs. And again, like you said, there should be no excuses for him. And again, you're valid in that he does need to perform well in order to get a head coach job. So I mean, I can make an argument that he probably would need to get his defense in the top 10. And what talking point would that be for him to say, hey, I coached the league's worst defense to now a top 10 defense. You know what I mean? So I think that's something he can put in his hat. We'll see
Big
if it
facts.
happens.
That'll be a huge thing, and then he can explain the reasons why and how and all this. Like that could literally help him. This is his resume, bro. This will be part of his resume. So he's got to do it, man. He's got to do it. All right, I'm gonna ask you a hard question, bro. But eighth pick. If you were Dan and Brant, you in there? Who you going for?
Man, so eighth pick, I think, man, we did a mock draft yesterday, and it the way it flushed out, it was tough to get an edge later in the draft, right? So, I mean, Jalen Walker, I think is the popular pick right now. I personally would not be mad. I think there's several options. I wouldn't be mad at a Will Johnson, cornerback from Michigan. I think if you get another young cornerback, you're paying two cornerbacks, right? So I think under ideal circumstances, you want to get a cornerback in there, and having him and JC be bookends for the next several years would be fantastic. So I would not be mad at Will Johnson. Uh, I mean, Mason Graham, if he happens to fall, I think that would be an ideal pick to shore up the interior. Imagine that rotation, bro. That rotation would be crazy. Graham, Derrick Brown, Bobby Brown. And then
Just like the Eagles.
that would be crazy. So yeah, exactly right. So that would be ridiculous. And then I think personally, and I know a lot of people may not like this, but I still would not be mad at taking Tet at 8, bro. You've invested a lot of money into that defense. You invested a lot of money into that defense, and you still cannot forget about the offensive weapons. I mean, I know we've taken some cracks at it, with Leggett, but Bryce needs to have a weapon. You cannot go into the season with just the way it stands. Thielen, I know he got his little check, but he will be also checking out soon. His knees is not going to be able to hold up very much longer. So we need to get a younger. We need to get another younger wide receiver, and we have to keep shooting until we get that true wide receiver one that we have not seen here since Steve Smith Sr.
Amen.
So
Amen.
it's a lot of options, bro. I don't think we can go wrong. Honestly, I think there's many ways we can go with 8.
I think towards the end of, I mean, well, free agency is not over, but as people start to leave the free agency piece and become players on different teams, I think that'll show me at least what we may potentially do in the draft. Um, we know for a fact that we cannot, as much as we've seen a lot of potential and progress in some of our rookie receivers last year. There's no way we can go into the 2025 NFL season with those players. We need to get speed and or a dominant wide receiver one, somebody that will strike fear in the defense's eyes, basically. So I think I know it's been a lot of hoopla on Twitter around the T. Higgins thing and all of that. And I'm not saying that it's not going to happen, but I'm not saying that it is going to happen either. We have to do something to do that. And depending on what other pieces Dan works with or tries to get, will say a lot to me. I do agree that edge rusher is extremely important. I love Jalen Walker. I think that he'll be a great piece and a chess piece that's used. He likes to call himself an HLB, which is a hybrid linebacker, because he can play off ball, he can rush, he can do whatever, and it screams Frankie Louvu, which we miss tremendously on the team.
For
Um,
sure.
but I like the Mason Graham pick too. Like the Eagles and the way they rotate that line. Come on now. Like it'll be fire. So I don't think we can go wrong. I think we're in a great position to make a move. I'm gonna come back to football because I have a question. This is gonna be a really good topic. The next one I want to talk about. But before I do, man, did you hear about this LeBron and Stephen A. Smith situation?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, this is an interesting one because actually let me loop this real quick. Um, so for those who haven't seen it, let me give you a quick little context. So Stephen A's at the LA game. LeBron approaches him, and I'm not your best lip reader, but basically he was like, "Don't be talking ish about my son," right? And the ish about his son that he was talking about was basically Stephen A. Smith talking on First Take around how LeBron constructed like the Lakers or constructed something to make sure that the Lakers were able to pick up Bronny at what number 55 or whatever. So we heard about all of that. And we talked about this on a pregame before around like there are rumors around Rich Paul calling teams saying don't draft Bronny, this, that, and the third, so that the Lakers could draft Bronny. And so Stephen A. Smith was basically saying like you're putting too much on Bronny this early, this, that, and the third. And LeBron came and was like, yo, like, leave my son's name out your mouth. Shot, as a father, do you agree with the way, not what LeBron said, but do you agree with the way that LeBron reacted to this particular thing, to Stephen A. Smith in public at the Lakers game?
I think I gotta approach this with from two sides, right? I think that one, I think it's kind of corny, right? In one sense, I think it's real. Why would
Corny's
you
on whose
pull up
side?
to? I think it's corny on LeBron's side
Okay.
to pull up to Stephen A. and say, "Hey, don't, bro, you are in the limelight. I'm sure you dealt with a lot worse,
Mm.
right? And people are gonna talk. That's the name of the game. Like that's what he's paid to do. So in that sense, I think it's corny. But at the same time, as a dad, right? If I'm in that situation and somebody talking stuff about my kids, I would do the same thing, right? So I think it's both, right? I see both sides of it. And I've heard what's a little bit of what Stephen A. had to say about it afterwards. You know what I mean? I think he's kind of doubled down on it, you know what I mean? Which it is what it is, you know what I mean? But that's just kind of the name of the game when you're in the media, right? You're gonna say things that you may not you gonna say things that you gotta back up, right? And so
Mhm.
that's just one of the things, man. If you put it out there, you gotta stand on it and deal with the consequences.
No, big facts. Before I go, we got 52 people in here, only 17 likes. Make sure y'all like the video. That's going to help us out. It's a free way to boost up the algorithm, get people to join. Um, because with y'all liking last week, we had over 100 something people in last week. So continue to like it, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you know when we go live. This is a tough one for me, bro, because I thought it was whack for him to do that middle of a game. Like you're playing a game, you're supposed to be locked in to the game. Yes, it's a timeout, but for you to do that. On the flip side, I get it where he was, saying like, "Hey, you talked about my son publicly. I'm gonna talk to you publicly." But I feel like there's a time and place for everything, and I think honestly, like, I think Stephen A. might have said this of like, if you'd have came to me and said, "Yo, I want to talk to you back, locker room after this about what you said to and the third, and then handle it back there," I would have respected that. Um, at the same time, let's keep it a buck. Bronny's 20 years old in a grown man's league. He got to fend for himself at some point. You know what I'm saying? He has to fend for himself. It gets to a point where like if that was my dad, I've been like pops, like I can handle myself. Like you don't always have to come and try to defend me. Like I got this. Like let him learn that and earn that, and then you know. We talked about we named a podcast episode of this before. Revenge is the best dish served cold. Like over time, Bronny could get his revenge, show out, be a starter, doing his thing, and then Stephen A. Smith will then have to eat his words. But, he did just get a new contract. I think it's like 5 year, 100 mil on First Take, and now he's on a world press run. This man's on CNN, on all these different podcasts talking about this and how Ron ain't gonna put no hands on me. I don't need backup. I had people right there with me. It's BS. Him saying all this, like Stephen A. is on a press run right now. But as a father, I get it because you're protective over your children and you don't want anybody to badmouth your children. So I get it and I respect it. But at the same time, man, like I think to me personally, it's a time and place for everything. Time and place for everything. Let me see. I'm looking at some of the notes here. I mean, some of the comments. I agree. Teach your son how to deal with it. I don't know why it's showing up. Why is it doing that? Yeah, so teach your son how to deal with it. That's right. Like teach him how to fish. Teach him how to react to things like that. Completely agree. Deontay said Brian been listening to Kendrick too much, feeling spicy. It's something, but at the same time, I feel like it's a time and place for everything, man. All right. So one other thing I want to talk about is the NFL draft. We talked about it. We talked about who we're going to draft, pick 8 and all those different things. And I think there is a deeper discussion. We may not get to finish it all tonight, but I think it's a deeper discussion around first round, at least, drafting for production versus drafting for potential. Because we've seen a lot of people who have drafted for potential that it just didn't necessarily pan out. We're talking about like the Trey Lances. We're talking about all these other players that have been drafted because of their potential. For instance, did anybody remember Deion Jordan from Oregon?
Oregon, yep.
3rd overall pick, right? He only had, for 3 seasons, he had like 14 and a half sacks, but he was drafted because of his elite size, 6'6", 248, athleticism, and he was a big major draft bust. So, as a fan, do you think the Panthers or teams should draft in that first round? Because later rounds, yeah, you can draft a project, you can draft off potential, you can draft production. But what are you looking at when you are analyzing or evaluating players? Shai, are you looking at the production or are you looking at the potential?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think it largely depends on the way your team is constructed, right? And I can bring up a perfect example of this scenario, and somebody's going to do it, right? Somebody's going to take Shamar Stewart,
Yes.
right? Somebody's going to take Shamar Stewart, 6'6", 260 some pounds, ran a 4.6, i.e. Julius Peppers. Somebody's going to take him, and his career is largely going to depend on where he's chosen, right? If Carolina takes him, I don't know that I feel as confident having a Shamar Stewart on the Panthers. But I know if he goes to a team like the Steelers or the Ravens,
Or the
he's going to be an
Eagles.
absolute nightmare. Or the Eagles, he's going to be an absolute nightmare. So I think it largely depends on your team, how your team is constructed, your coaches. Can your
Yes.
coaches get the best out of them? Do you have a track record of development? For the Panthers, I would say no. I think the Panthers, we need somebody that has talent that can come, especially like you said in the earlier rounds. We need, i.e., Marty Herney, who used to just draft guys in the first round, and he used to these guys were just great. It don't matter who the coach was, because even under other bum coaches, he still was able to get elite talent, right? And I think we need that type of situation in Carolina. So I'm looking for the production from a Carolina perspective. But I just it's that's a tough question because I do like some. Shamar Stewart is my guy. Like I really would love to have Shamar Stewart on my team, but I just don't trust our ecosystem yet to make him the best person he can be.
Bro, we right now we can't afford potential. We have to, like, especially the way that our team is constructed right now, we need people who can come in and produce right now. Deontay brings up a good point. We drafted off potential last year, taking XL. Yes, but we have to keep in mind, XL said this in an interview. He said that my agent said that I was around the high round 2, and we traded up to draft him in round 1, pick 32, for that 5th-year option. But we didn't draft him saying, XL, you are a wide receiver 1, because we had Deontay Johnson at that time, right? We want him to come in to
Who?
develop.
Who we had? Who was that? Oh,
Hey, hold on, speaking of, did you I say it. Did you see he had a video that came out recently, and he was telling his story of like everything that went on
no,
this past season.
no, I did not see it.
Yeah, it was gonna be one of my pregame react things, but I told myself I'll
Yeah,
leave it.
I was gonna say that should have been that would have been a good
I
one because
thought
I
about it.
definitely had not seen it.
I thought about, yes, it's out. He didn't really say too much. He didn't really say too much that was like revealing, which is why I was like, eh. He just basically said like it was not his character. He would have done things differently. But it sounded like he was talking more so about his situation at Baltimore and Houston, and not more so what Carolina did. So I mean, I said to you, it's like 10 minutes long, but it wasn't nothing in there that was like it was of substance to talk about. So I was like, we talked about him a lot. I'll let him live. But what I was saying was we can't afford potential right now at first round. We need somebody to plug and play that could come in here and be. I mean, I don't know if we'll see who falls, but we need like a blue chip type of player, like somebody who's going to come in and put in work. But it's curious, and I say all that to say, and the reason I wanted to talk about this is as you're looking through, like it's just very curious to keep this in mind as the draft comes, to say like, are some of these players or teams drafting off of production versus potential? And Shad, I think you bring up a good point around how your team is set up, the scheme, the development of those players, and how well the culture of development, or developmental culture, excuse me. But yeah, I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see what takes place. But yeah, that's really about it on that piece. Last thing I want to say, and then we're going to close. Did you see my boy Curry is now assistant GM of Davidson
I saw that.
and the investor of Unrivaled? Is this moves of potential retirement soon, or do you think this is just him making business moves?
No, I think the Davidson move is giving back. I think he's donating his time, and he knows that his name holds a lot of weight. And I think that him just being tied to the program is going to elevate Davidson College, which is right up the street from my house, by the way. Shout out to Davidson.
Shout out to Davidson. Had some
So
fun
yeah,
coming through
I think
Davidson.
yeah, I think that's dope though, man. I think that's fire. And even if it is, planning for life after NBA, I think that's fire too. I think more people should kind of follow suit and start preparing for what it's going to look like. Again, these professional athletes, you only in your prime for so long. You got to start thinking about what life looks like afterwards. And I think that's dope, man. I think you're going to see more. You're starting to see. I think we talked about it on this on a while back about the GMs coming. You need it, bro. These
Yeah.
NIL deals and
Mm-hmm.
trying to convince these coaches to come here or these players to come to XYZ school. You gotta have that element of, hey, I got Steph Curry. Yeah, I mean, you want to talk to Let me call up Steph. You
Mm-hmm.
want to talk to Hall of Fame legendary Steph Curry? I can make that happen, and boom, you gonna get a bunch of a signee right there off the
Right.
strength. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? So
Chestnut
it's
checkers.
kind of it's kind of like the Jordan effect with Carolina, right? Carolina, they always can lean on Jordan, right? Because he went to Chapel Hill and he's always involved with Chapel, the shoes, right? All that stuff. They can go back and lean on that. Hasn't worked out well for him recently, but I think they're gonna get back to that and have Jordan more involved. They're gonna be able to buy some players. You
Yep.
know what I mean? That's what it is.
Yes. I completely agree with you. I think that this was definitely a good branding move for Davidson to bring in Curry. I love the fact that he's investing in Unrivaled. I've talked about WNBA already and how much I love WNBA. So shout out to him for doing that. All right, so we're getting ready to close. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us. Yo, Shot, before I close, do you watch Severance?
Nah, I have not watched Severance yet. I gotta check it out. Is he? I need a good binge
Yeah,
watch,
bro.
Joan.
That's a good one, bro. I was gonna say I wanna I I've been collecting some comments from people around like what they want us to watch and kind of react to. I checked out Love Is Blind. It didn't hit for me this year.
Bro,
I mean
that
this season.
is me, bro. I was just about to ask you about it. I've
Minnesota. It
watched
was Minnesota. It wasn't Minnesota. It was Minnesota, bro. It was mid.
Minnesota. That's funny.
It
Yeah,
was
bro.
mid.
Yeah, bro. Me and my wife, we talked about it on the show, but me and the wife was watching it, and I couldn't get into it. I can't get into it,
I
bro.
can't. I'm
I don't even
sorry.
want to continue where I'm at. Like, I think they from where I am, they just went back to meet the parents and all that stuff, and it's just kind of mid. So
It is, bro. It wasn't a good one. That's why I was like, man, I ain't want, that's why I didn't bring it up in the chat. I was like, I don't know. We
yeah,
talked about watching it, but it was mid, bro. But we gotta
we did.
find a show that we can all watch, all three of us, and talk about. And Severance, bro. Severance is like that. I ain't gonna hold
What's
you.
it on?
It's on Apple TV.
Okay, yeah,
It's on
I'm
Apple TV.
good.
Yeah, it's like that, bro. It's like it's 2 seasons out. It's pretty good. Chat. Y'all watch Severance? It's like that, bro.
The
Deontay
real
saying,
question, Carlo, the
yeah,
real question is: did anybody say anything about Channel One,
no
or is it just me?
is
Come on, bro. Ain't no old heads in the chat,
nobody said I didn't. I'm scrolling back up. But I didn't
bruh.
see anything about channel. I would have told
Come
you, bro.
on, man.
Oh yeah, first, oh
Come
yeah,
on,
happy
man.
happy
Come on,
313
chat.
day. Happy 313 day. Nah, I don't see nothing.
Chat bugging, bro.
Channel,
I
no,
can't be
nobody
the only
saying.
one that rock with Channel One, bro.
Anybody know channel one? And I had cable too.
It was in school. It was like a school channel. It was in
Oh,
school. It was for school.
oh, no, I don't know nothing about that, bro. I might.
Come on,
We
man.
got somebody. Somebody say yes.
Yeah, see? Shout out to the see? Come on, bruh. Channel One was it.
I don't remember, but I probably seen it, but I don't know. Oh wow!
Come on,
Everyday Gamer
man.
said Severance is the second best show, and Paradise is the best show on TV. I haven't seen Paradise.
Okay. I gotta check it out. Both of them.
I gotta check out both. We check out both and figure out which one. Severance is like that. I'm watching that right now, but Paradise is my next show I'm gonna watch. But yeah, y'all continue to let us know what y'all want us to talk about. Like I said, this is a podcast for the people, by the people, and we want y'all to be entertained. We want y'all to be engaged. So y'all let us know what y'all want to watch. Hey yo, shout out to Deontay. Happy birthday, bro. Happy early birthday. Your
Shout out
birthday's
to
this
Deontay,
Sunday.
man.
Shout out Deontay. My
Deontay's
birthday
the
is next
man.
Tuesday, March 18th, man.
Ooh,
So Pisces
y'all
gang.
old.
Pisces
Y'all
gang.
old,
All
bro.
right,
Y'all
channel one.
old.
All right, channel one.
See? Come on now. Come
You
on,
said I said
Channel
y'all
One.
old. No, you said y'all old. I said, all right, channel one.
Oh,
All right,
no. I
channel
was talking
one.
about me. Oh, yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
here
I
you
know I'm
go.
old, bro.
Here you go. They said I remember channel one. It had me time to do my homework before class starts.
Exactly. You be in homeroom watching Channel One. Shout out. See? That's what I be talking about. Shout out to Channel One. That's where I saw the Iverson commercials at, B.
Hey, I don't
Come
remember
on,
that.
man.
I don't remember that. That's
Come on, man.
crazy.
We was locked
Oh,
in,
dang.
bro.
Somebody
Channel
said
One.
yes for Severance, not shy. Sorry. You got one, though. You got a channel one. You got a channel one.
Yeah, I got a Channel One. All right. So
That's
I was gonna say she
hilarious.
look too young to know about
Right.
Channel One, bro. You gotta be in your 40s to know about Channel One,
Oh
B. It's
yeah, then that's why I don't know nothing about Channel One, dog.
all good, man. You'll
It's
get
all
there.
right. I'll get there. I get there. I'm creeping up on it a little bit. Not really, but I'll just say that to make you feel better. Um.
Come
All
on, man.
right. So look, y'all, it's been fun. Make sure y'all continue to like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to pull up on the pregame podcast. Yo, we have not done a starting lineup in a while, so we got to do a starting lineup next week.
Bro, real quick, man.
Yeah,
I didn't get a chance to do my 90. What was your 90s joints, bro?
we didn't do it
What
yet.
was your shows? Bro, we need to run that. I was ready, bro. I'm ready. My list is crazy. I'm ready, bro.
All right, we're doing
I'm
that next
ready.
week then.
I'm ready.
All
I'm
right, so
ready.
look, we're doing 90 shows. 90 shows. It could be animated, it could be a sitcom, just 90s in general. The 90 show. That's what we're gonna do.
Yo,
Top five.
my list is not
Hey,
debatable, bro.
Shot is coming in very, very, very
It's
confident.
not debatable. Listen,
Very
I
confident.
just brought up Channel One, bro. I'm built like
He
that,
said, I'm
bro.
locked in. He
The-
said, I'm
I'm,
locked in to the night.
I'm built like that.
He said,
Channel
I'm
One,
locked in.
I'm the Channel One days, TGIF. Come on, bro.
Okay.
Come on, man.
Okay. Yeah.
My list is not debatable, bro. I'm
Saturday
not going back and
cartoons.
forth with nobody.
Okay. All right. You better come with it. 90 shows, top 5 90 shows next week, y'all. Make sure y'all ready because we don't judge, but we do judge.
Yeah, I'm
So
judging.
yeah, we want y'all to put in the comments of what y'all feel like. And here's the thing, y'all, it's your opinion. You ain't gotta go to no Google and say what the top 5 shows to try to be right. It's your opinion on what you watch, your top 5 shows. Your top 5. So we'll get into it. Hey, yo, as always, pregame gang.
Hey, say gang.
We appreciate y'all. We out of here. Shad, I appreciate you, my boy.
Yep.
We out. Peace.